Tom Weich, thank you for a $5 super chat. Timeline for the HDO2 replacement. I've been debating Sky04X and HDO2 with Crossfire for weeks. How much better is Crossfire over the O4X? I'm sorry, what? Rapid fire? You mean rapid fire, not Crossfire. No one knows. Has Fatshark even confirmed that they're working on an HDO2 replacement? They haven't, as far as I know. So Tom Weich, surely Fatshark is working on something. We don't know what it is or when it will come, and we don't know whether it will be what it will be. What will it be? If Fatshark releases a replacement for the HDO2, what will it be? What could it possibly be? Is it going to be a new analog goggle to compete with Orca? What could Fatshark release? So right now, the HDO2 is at like $500, $550. The Orca is just a little bit more than that. And like the Orca is better in almost every way, but a little more expensive. So Fatshark's sort of slotted in there. What's Fatshark going to do? Is Fatshark going to release a goggle that's better than the Orca at a higher price point? I'm skeptical. So is it going to be a new HD0 goggle? Extremely skeptical. Fatshark has moved away from HD0. So like, if there was a replacement for the HDO2 coming, what would it be that would make you feel excited? That's the big question. What would it be? It's hard for me to imagine something that Fatshark would make that would make me feel super excited. It feels like, in a lot of ways, analog goggles have peaked. And what I mean by that is, where do they have... Look at the top of the line analog goggles that exist today. Orca FPV, HDO2 from Fatshark, SkyZone Sky04X. Those are really the top of the line analog goggles today. What would you change about those goggles to make them better? What are you going to do? You're going to go to a 4K screen? Why? Who cares? It's 1280 by 960 resolution. That's already more resolution than you need for analog. And frankly, more than you need for HD0 if that's what you're into. So what are they going to do? OLED screens. Got them. What are you going to do? Bigger screens? Maybe. My point is that analog goggles have reached the sort of end of this generation. And the other thing to keep in mind is the top of the line analog goggles are already more expensive than most people are willing to pay for the experience that they deliver. If you said, here's a goggle, it's going to give you a 4K FPV link, 4K, true 4K resolution, 20 millisecond latency, and 5 miles of range. But it's going to be $1,500. Like, many people would not be able to afford that, but many people would say, I mean, look at what you're getting. The value proposition on analog goggles today, top of the line goggles, you're paying $500+. And there's two things going on here. I don't think that analog goggles have a lot of room to get any more expensive than they are. In fact, they're already, I think, a little too expensive for most people, but obviously not all people, because like the Orca is still sold out. So what do I know? But the other thing is that where do they have the room to improve? What has Orca done to make the goggles better? They haven't improved on the optics. They haven't improved on the receiver technology. They're still using rapid fire. What they've improved on is the interface and the side features to make a better to use goggle. Fatshark could do that. Theoretically they could, if they had the resources. I question whether they have the resources, especially now that Tony Cake and Immersion RC have left, since I think a lot of the Fatshark's engineering came from Tony. So we got into this discussion by Tom Weich asking about the timeline for the HDO2 replacement. And I'm like, never? Or when it comes, it's going to be the HDO 2.5, and it's going to be a very incremental refresh. That's my opinion. Now, I would love to be wrong, but that's my opinion. I think Fatshark's smartest move is to keep selling the HDO2. If Fatshark could develop a goggle with a modern interface and feature set similar to the Orca, then they should totally do it. And then sell it for the same price as the HDO2, or maybe a little more. But that's about it. I just don't think there's a lot of places to go with analog goggles. And Orca has done it. And SkyZone has done it in a lot of ways. When Fatshark was partnering with HD0, I thought this is going to be really good for the future of Fatshark. Because analog is at the end of its... There's just nowhere to go with it in a lot of ways. And HD0 is a way forward for Fatshark. And then Fatshark was like, HD0, this guy's a pain in the ass. And then they just backed out. And they're like, okay, well, what are you going to do next then? And I just don't know what it is. Okay. Aerobrat says, I hope they're working on an affordable HD system that's better than DJI. I hope they're working on a magic unicorn that brings me coffee and gives me back massages with its little unicorn hooves anytime I would need them. I mean, we can hope, but I don't think that's very realistic. Not. Flash FPV, thank you. Oh, sorry. There was a little bit more to Tom White's question. How much better is rapid fire over the O4X? It's a little better. The O4X rapid mix mode is close to as good. The Tweet FPV says, why would you go Fatshark? I guess we're going to keep dogging on Fatshark a little bit. Orca has surpassed them. The only thing people were concerned about was repair and customer service, and that is excellent from Orca. Fatshark has gotten worse, and Orca has been proven themselves to be good at customer service. So Orca does customer service out of Croatia, but and this is not just me. I have had this experience, but if you go, well, that's just because you're a YouTuber. No, everyone I've talked to has the same experience. You call and you put in a trouble ticket, and then they send you a DHL label, and like a DHL truck shows up at your address tomorrow and picks up your goggles. And then like 2 days later, they're in Croatia and they're fixing them. And then how long it takes to fix them depends on various things, but then they turn them around and they send them back. It's really completely seamless. So yeah. And Fatshark has gotten worse. I've heard more and more complaints about slow. I mean, I try to keep my ear to the ground. And Fatshark, it used to be that you just didn't hear very many complaints about their customer service. You send an email, Randy Ram answers you. Is the guy's name really Randy Ram? You know, Randy means like Randy, you know, like horny. Is his name really Randy Ram? Like a male sheep. His name is Randy Ram. If that's true, then I apologize for noticing that it has that connotation. No offense intended, Randy. But it used to be that you email Fatshark support and then boom, you just get answers quick and your turnaround was quick. And I've heard more and more complaints that they don't get answers or it takes forever. Or Real Power FPV says Randy Ram was Mickey Rourke's character in The Wrestler. I did not know that. Well, this Randy guy must have borrowed his name.